Imagine a planet almost the same size as Earth, orbiting close enough to be called our cosmic twin, yet hiding a world so hostile that no machine can survive there for long. This planet is Venus. For centuries, its thick clouds concealed everything beneath them, fueling one of the greatest mysteries in astronomy. Could a world so similar to Earth actually be filled with alien jungles and strange life forms? Or was something far darker hiding below those clouds? During the height of the Cold War, scientists and engineers decided there was only one way to find out. They would send machines directly into the most extreme environment any spacecraft had ever faced. What they discovered on Venus would shock the scientific community and ultimately explain why humanity has never returned to its surface again. In the early days of space exploration, the focus wasn't Mars, it was Venus. Through telescopes, scientists could already see much of Mars' surface, and it looked dry, cold, and lifeless. Venus was different. Its entire planet was wrapped in a thick layer of clouds that no telescope could see through. That mystery sparked wild speculation. Some researchers imagined a world covered in vast oceans or dense tropical forests filled with alien creatures. After all, Venus had a dense atmosphere and orbited closer to the sun than Earth, suggesting it might be warm and humid. To many people at the time, Venus seemed like the most likely place for life beyond Earth. But not everyone agreed with this optimistic vision. Some scientists suspected that those clouds were hiding something far more dangerous. One of the strongest warnings came from the astronomer Carl Sagan, who proposed that Venus might be experiencing a runaway greenhouse effect. According to this idea, sunlight entering the atmosphere would become trapped by thick clouds and gases, heating the planet to unimaginable temperatures. If that theory was correct, the surface of Venus would be less like a rainforest and more like a furnace. But theories weren't enough. Scientists needed real data, and during the early 1960s, the Soviet Union was determined to be the first to uncover the truth. They had already shocked the world by launching Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, and sending Yuri Gagarin as the first human into space. Their next bold move was to reach Venus. The first attempt came with the spacecraft Venera 1 and Venera 2. These early probes were primitive by today's standards. Engineers had limited computers and relied heavily on calculations and timing to send their spacecraft across millions of kilometers of space. Both probes successfully traveled toward Venus and even passed relatively close to the planet. But before they could collect meaningful data, both spacecraft experienced critical system failures. No useful information was returned. While the Soviet engineers went back to redesign their probes, the United States made its own attempt to study Venus. In 1962, NASA launched the Mariner 2 spacecraft, and this time the mission succeeded. Mariner 2 flew past Venus and performed the first close-range scientific observations of another planet. During a brief scan lasting just over 40 minutes, the spacecraft gathered data that completely changed humanity's understanding of Venus. The temperatures measured were shocking, around 237 degrees Celsius, far hotter than scientists had expected. And those measurements were taken from far above the surface. The probe also discovered that the planet's cloud layers extended up to 80 kilometers high. It became clear that Venus was not a tropical paradise at all. Instead, it was likely one of the most hostile worlds in the entire solar system. Because of these results, NASA shifted its attention toward the Moon and Mars. But the Soviet Union refused to give up. In fact, they believed they were closer than ever to a historic discovery. They launched a new generation of probes, known as the Venera missions. In 1966, Venera 3 became the first human-made object to reach the surface of another planet. Although it crashed rather than landed, still, it was a historic milestone. Soon after, Venera 4 achieved another breakthrough by entering Venus's atmosphere and transmitting data during its descent. For the first time in history, scientists were receiving measurements from inside the atmosphere of another world. As the probe slowly descended through the clouds, the readings revealed something terrifying. At high altitudes, conditions were relatively mild, surprisingly similar to a warm day on Earth. But the deeper the probe traveled, the more extreme the environment became. Temperatures climbed rapidly, and atmospheric pressure increased dramatically. It was like diving deeper and deeper into an invisible ocean of air. After about 90 minutes, the transmission suddenly stopped. Scientists later concluded that the crushing weight of Venus's atmosphere had destroyed the... Even with this alarming discovery, the Soviet engineers kept pushing forward. Venera 5 and Venera 6 followed similar paths in 1969, sending valuable atmospheric data before meeting the same crushing fate. Yet every mission brought new information, allowing engineers to build stronger spacecraft. Finally, in 1970, the breakthrough arrived. Venera 7 managed to land on the surface of Venus and transmit data back to Earth. It was the first successful landing on another planet in history. The information it sent confirmed scientists' worst fears. Surface temperatures were measured at around 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt many metals. The pressure at the surface was enormous, about 92 times stronger than Earth's atmosphere, comparable to being nearly a kilometer underwater. Yet incredibly, the probe survived long enough to transmit this data before its systems failed. Still, the missions continued. Venera 8 landed successfully in 1972 and revealed another surprising detail. Despite the thick cloud cover, enough sunlight reached the surface to potentially take photographs. That discovery set the stage for one of the most iconic moments in planetary exploration. In 1975, Venera 9 transmitted the first photograph ever taken from the surface of another planet. The image revealed a strange landscape of jagged rocks and dusty ground, an alien world frozen in a perpetual orange haze. A few days later, Venera 10 sent another image, showing a smoother terrain that likely formed from ancient lava flows. These images proved that even in the most extreme environments, robotic explorers could still reveal the hidden landscapes of other worlds. But the Soviet missions were not finished yet. In 1981, Venera 13 delivered the first color photographs from the surface of Venus. The images showed a barren rocky landscape stretching toward distant cliffs, illuminated by a dim yellow light filtering through the thick atmosphere. Venera 13 also performed one of the most advanced experiments ever attempted on another planet. It drilled into the Venusian soil and analyzed the material, discovering rock similar to volcanic formations on Earth. Even more astonishing, the probe carried a microphone and recorded the first sounds ever captured on another planet: wind moving through the dense atmosphere and the faint mechanical noises of the lander itself. But despite these incredible achievements, the exploration of Venus eventually came to an end. The reason is simple. Venus is one of the most unforgiving environments ever encountered. While robots on Mars can operate for years, the longest any Venera lander survived on Venus was just a couple of hours. The extreme heat, crushing pressure, and corrosive atmosphere quickly destroy even the toughest machines. When the Soviet Union collapsed in the early 1990s, the Venera program ended as well. Since then, space agencies have mostly focused their efforts on Mars and other destinations where spacecraft can operate much longer and deliver far more scientific data. And so the surface of Venus remains one of the least explored places in our solar system. Even today, that mysterious world still waits beneath its endless clouds. A planet so close to Earth, yet still hiding secrets that humanity has barely begun to uncover. And somewhere beneath that suffocating atmosphere lies the silent landscape photographed by those Soviet machines decades ago. The last visitors to ever touch the surface of Venus.